Albuquerque police weren't sure if they had a murder on their hands.
Girly Chew was a young woman from Malaysia. She really was trying to fulfill her American dream.
Was this man doing anything illegal?
He was a con artist portraying himself as a doctor.
This guy is not a doctor, but he's performing medical procedure. I mean, it's totally insane.
It is human blood. It matches that of Girly Chew.
And he did this to women he supposedly loved?
He cared little about the women. They were nothing more than pawns to him.
Hi, I'm Nancy O'Dell. Today's crime expose takes us to Albuquerque, New Mexico. A young wife who sought the American dream vanished without a trace. Her dream became a nightmare when a twisted conspiracy theory made her out to be the queen of aliens, and an unholy union led to murder. The American dream. For a young 19-year-old Malaysian woman named Girly Chew, it was always just out of reach. Girly was so enamored by the dream, she came looking for it. It was more magical than she imagined.
Girly Chew was a young woman from Malaysia who came to America searching for a better life. She really was trying to fulfill her American dream.
She meets an individual by the name of Diazin Hassankopf, and he tells her that he's a doctor and there's a spark that hits both of them.
She goes to New Mexico with him. They get married quite quickly and the honeymoon ends fast.
Diazin was a con artist portraying himself as a doctor, and he told people that he could inject them with a serum that he had developed that would return their youth and could cure cancer. He would prey on these people and he would take them for thousands of dollars. This is how he made his living.
This guy is not a doctor. He's not an MD, but he's performing medical procedure. I mean, it's totally insane.
He's having affairs with multiple women and he becomes very abusive to Girly Chew. And she finds out that he's a fraud. Girly Chew finds Diazin in the garage one day. He jumps up, grabs her by the neck, and tries to strangle her. She manages to escape. She then tells her co-workers at the bank that this man is threatening to kill her.
Finally, Girly Chew had enough of Diazin unhinged behavior and moved into an apartment. Meanwhile, Diazin has set his sights on an intergalactic connection. He needed a mate who shared in his dark vision of the universe of an alien threat.
Diazin is at a UFO event and he meets a woman named Linda Henning. She was very involved in beliefs of the occult and spirituality and UFOs. Linda becomes totally enamored with Diazin very quickly, and the bedrock of their relationship is this belief in these evil reptilians.
She believed that there were reptile aliens that controlled the earth, and she started to tell her friends that Diazin was actually an alien who was hundreds of years old, and then she encouraged them to take the injections so that their youth could be rejuvenated. So she fell totally under the spell of Diazin, and she became a die-hard UFO conspiracy theorist.
They believed these aliens were evil creatures whom Diazin and Linda believed were taking over the human race. In record time, Diazin convinced Linda that they were cosmic soulmates, and the two lovers formed a twisted bond.
Diazin starts to control Henning's life. and he separates her very quickly from her friend, especially the ones that tell her that they have doubts about diazine. So she starts to also isolate herself from anybody that speaks badly of diazine.
So how was he able to control his girlfriend Linda, who was so successful and beautiful and had her own life?
Diazine was very compelling. Henning was just a viable piece of clay for him.
While preaching the gospel of the reptilians, Dacian neglected to tell Linda he had a wife, but he hadn't forgotten.
One day, Girly, who is always on time or early to work, she was a very diligent worker, she doesn't show up to the bank. And all of her friends at work are immediately scared because they know about what's been going on with Dacian.
So they become very concerned, and they call the Albuquerque Police Department.
Police go to Girly's apartment, and when they walk in, they are completely alarmed by what they see. There's a very strong odor of bleach in the apartment, and there's no Girly to be found. And then they quickly realize that there's been a huge amount of blood that someone has attempted to clean up. So they spray luminol, and then they see all of this blood, and alarm bells go ringing.
They do swabs of the wet spots. They send them to the laboratory, and very quickly they determine that it is human blood. It matches that of Girly Chew.
So quickly the police start to look for Dacian, and they find amongst his things Linda Henning's name. And so they also start looking for her.
A few days after Girly Chew's troubling disappearance, there was a development in the case.
A highway department employee in Magdalena, New Mexico, which is about 100 miles away from Albuquerque, and he saw what he thought was a blanket very close to the highway. It's a large tarp, and he finds blood on this tarp, and next to the tarp he finds clothing also that were covered in blood.
And also they find masking tape that was clearly looked like handcuffs.
On the duct tape, he found what looked like female hair. So he gathered these materials up and took him to the police. The hair strands matched that of Girly Chew. The blood on the tarp and the clothing also matched Girly Chew's.
Albuquerque police weren't sure if they had a murder on their hands, but it looked very bad for Girly Chew. Her husband, Dacian, had done a disappearing act, and Linda, his new girlfriend, wasn't talking. Albuquerque police had a mystery on their hands. Girly Chew, estranged wife of Dacian Hasikoff, had disappeared. A bloody scene at her apartment led cops to suspect she may have been murdered. They needed to speak with her husband, but he had left town.
Dacian was later found in Charleston, South Carolina, living with another woman that he was engaged to, even though he was still married to Girly Chew.
Meanwhile, cops zeroed in on Dacian's girlfriend, Linda Henning, the reptilian poster girl on a mission to warn the world of an alien threat, had more pressing issues.
After Dacian was taken into custody, they went to Linda Henning, questioned her, and she stated that she barely knew Dacian, that she met him at a UFO conference, and also that she didn't know Girly Chew. But investigators were able to determine that she banked at the Bank of America branch where Girly Chew worked, and at least on one occasion, Girly Chew was the teller that she dealt with.
They search Linda Henning's place, and in the garage they find something very peculiar. They find a samurai sword.
The blade of the sword had blood on it, On the handle, there was some additional blood, and it appeared to match the blood of Diazin. They also found a shotgun and a Beretta 22 caliber handgun at Henning's residence.
So they obtain a DNA sample from Linda, and they discover that not only is Girly's blood all over the apartment, Linda's blood is there as well, as a lot of cat hairs, because Linda had multiple cats. So we know now that something was going on with Linda and Girly.
Circumstantial evidence was mounting that Linda Henning was responsible for the murder of Girly Chew, and police suspected that the victim's husband may have orchestrated the plot. And it appeared that Diazin had been playing both ends against the middle all along.
Diazin knew that the focus is always on the husband. So he took it upon himself, even though he was having an affair with Linda Henning, to plant evidence at Girly Chew's apartment that would frame Linda Henning. So he cared little about the women that he was involved in. They were nothing more than pawns to him.
So there's a grand jury convened. The police understood that the amount of blood they found everywhere, there was no way that Girly could still be alive. So even though they didn't have a body, both Linda and Diazin are charged with murder.
So did Linda Henning point a finger at Girly's husband, Diazin?
When she's first arrested, defends Diazin. Says that he's a wonderful doctor, that, he's done nothing wrong. Diazin is facing the death penalty, so he cuts a deal with prosecutors.
Diazin, this guy who thought he was such a genius, so much smarter than everyone else, he's dead to rights. And so he pleads guilty to murder. And he agrees to not only testify against Linda at her trial, but also to lead investigators to Girly's body so she can be sent back to her family.
Linda Henning starts to realize that, she's not going to be the alien queen that he promised her. She's not going to be given extra powers. So she knows that she could be the one facing the death penalty. She starts to panic, and she tells people Diazin conned her into participating in Girly Chew's murder.
Diazin Hassenkoft, the eccentric salesman of alien conspiracies, was about to reveal his dark heart in court. The murder of Girly Chew had taken an unexpected turn. Although Girly had yet to be found, her estranged husband, Diazin Hassenkoft, pled guilty to murder to avoid the death penalty. As part of his deal with prosecutors, he promised to tell police where his wife's body was, but first, he had agreed to testify at Linda Henning's murder trial. And police say Diazin had been rehearsing this performance his entire life.
Diazin comes into the courtroom, and he is kind of doing this full Charles Manson madman. He's glaring at the families, he's glaring at Linda, and he clearly loves this attention. This is his moment to be on stage and be important.
Did he appear to show any remorse or shame for his part in this murder?
Diazin enters the courtroom smiling like the Cheshire Cat. And he takes the stand and he starts to tell the jury that Girly Chew was hunted down and that she knew she was going to die, and that he hoped that she died an excruciating death. And at that point in time, the jury looked at him as though he was the devil personified.
Diazian is supposed to be a defense witness for Linda, but he's actually just absolutely crazy on the stand, and he becomes her worst nightmare. I am sure her defense attorney was just hanging his head like, why did we call this man? And Diazian is thrilled to death because he's getting his moment. He doesn't care about Linda, he cares about himself. What's really disgusting is the way he taunts Girly's family. It's just totally repulsive.
Diazian Hassenkoft claimed that he was responsible for Girly's murder, but there was nothing noble in his words. At that moment, it became clear he had played Linda Henning.
The explanation given by Diazian as to planting Linda Henning's blood at Girly Chew's apartment is disingenuous. He said that he was trying to confuse the investigators. Well, Diazian inadvertently also ties himself to the scene where allegedly the murder took place.
Diazian Hassenkoft had nothing to lose by testifying, but Linda Henning was on the hook for murder and faced a death sentence. This was a chance for Diazian to save her, but on the stand, he didn't do her any favors.
So Linda is also convicted of murder. And honestly, I think he liked that. I think his main goal is manipulating people and getting reactions out of people. And even if it was bad, it was more fun for him.
Linda Henning was very fortunate to escape the death penalty, but she received about 73 years, which could, in essence, be a life sentence for her.
An innocent young woman was dead at the hands of two obsessed lovers. The shocking crime and trial nearly obscured the victim, Girly Chew.
This is such a tragic story. Girly Chew had her life ripped from her, all because of this stupid fantasy world that Diazian had created and that Linda believed in. And in the process, Girly Chew was murdered, Linda Henning's life was destroyed, and for what?
Diazian Hassenkoft reneged on his agreement to lead police to her body. Girly has never been found. The murder of Girly Chew was one of the strangest murder cases Albuquerque had ever seen. It was as senseless as it was cruel. Diazian Hassenkoft and Linda Henning's twisted alien agenda became a murderous plot for their own selfish needs and victimized a young woman and her family. And now it is time for today's Safety Spotlight. Some individuals driven by extremist beliefs or conspiracy theories can resort to violence, targeting family members, public figures, and others. Law enforcement suspected the perpetrators in this case were motivated by their UFO-related conspiracy theories, which led them to brutally murder Girly Chew. While not all extremist behavior leads to criminal activity, there are warning signs that indicate a person may resort to violence. Some signs include making threats, hostile behavior, expressing violent plans or intent, stockpiling weapons, and becoming fixated on acceptance. If you observe suspicious activity like this, contact and report it to your local law enforcement, who can determine whether this behavior warrants further action. I'm Nancy O'Dell. For everybody here at Crime Exposé, please join us next time and stay safe.